Action!
Hello, we are justifying 3 at the same time, a web series, a series Bible, and a TV pilot, although those probably should have gone in the opposite order, actually. Doesn't matter. Okay, let's start. A mask. One of the characters wears a mask. Pretty simple. Emotional disconnect. The main character, Sam, has a pretty important emotional disconnect with his mother in several of the episodes, including the first one. Coming of age. It is more or less a coming of age tale of these kids who come of age. The lone wolf. One of the characters, Carnegie, who is introduced in the second part of the pilot, says he normally works alone. He's normally a lone wolf who is thrown into a bit of a group situation. Insubordination. The characters are pretty insubordinate. They, for one thing, they sneak into a morgue. They don't listen to what the cops tell them to do. For the most part, they ignore authority figures. Lack of free will. One of the characters, Sandy, keeps saying that certain things are predestined to happen, and they don't have free will in the matter. Most importantly, being the murder of Drew, which says, well, one of them will murder Drew. Well, he's already dead. They find his body at the end of the first episode. So, you know. Betrayal. The group does get betrayed by multiple characters, actually. The main one being Alex, and the teacher at the end of the sixth episode. A seeker. The driving thing they're searching for is why they found a body at the end of the pilot. That's the thing they're searching for. That's what they're seeking. A detour while they're searching, while Gus brings Sam into the fold to find out who killed Drew, or what the body was about. He gets called off, has to take a detour in the story, so he ends up going off another direction. It's about independence. The kids are actually very independent. You only see one parent over the course of the entire show, and they're more or less all doing stuff on their own, so they're very independent. Shadows. This is a I think I called it Twin Peaks meets Spiderwick Chronicles. It's probably a little too on the nose. There are a lot of shadows, is what I'm trying to say. In fact, one of the bad guy actually travels in shadow. Conspiracy. There is sort of a supernatural conspiracy behind everything in EREBUS. Pathological liar. There are several characters who are pathological liars. Most prominently is the teacher in episode 6, but also Carnegie has a bit of that as well. An explorer. They're all more or less explorers trying to figure out what's going on in the world, and especially regarding the book and what the book's about, and exploring all that jazz. Pride. A lot of characters have pride. Carnegie specifically is called a pretentious douchebag, and because he has a lot of pride. And also teacher in episode 6 also has a good deal of pride. A sight gag. There are several sight gags that aren't necessarily funny, but they are more or less gags. I think most prominently in episode 4 there are several of them, because that's the episode where I wanted to be like, hey, I'm directing this, so I threw in a lot of sight gags. Person in costume. Like I said, someone wears a mask, so that is a costume. The grind. The grind. The grind of trying to figure out who killed Drew is a bit of a grind. The collapse of civilization. They are warned by Sandy that EREBUS is coming, which means EREBUS is the Greek word for the beginning of the underworld. So they're threatened essentially with the world coming to an end if they don't defeat the bad guy or let the book fall into the wrong hands, which leads into apocalypse. These two cards pretty much are the same thing. A brotherhood. Two of the characters are very close friends, and also they all are sort of thrown in together, and they form sort of a brotherhood in trying to, figure out who killed Drew and also defeat the evil thing. And a twist. There are multiple twists. They normally occur at the end of the episode because cliffhangers and stuff. I'm trying to think of an example. Well, the twist basically in episode 6 is a twist that the teacher is actually kind of a bad guy. There's a twist in episode 2 of them finding the body, so there's a bunch of them. A bicycle. In episode 2, a person rides a bicycle, or you see bicycles in the background. Episode 1, in the original script, they were supposed to be riding bicycles, but it actually rained on the filming day, so we didn't actually shoot that. In episode 6, they run past the bike cage, so there's lots of bicycles around. It's a kids show. A magician. The teacher specifically at the end of episode 6, and his character as the Beast is more or less a magician. He appears out of nowhere, and in episode 1 he sort of the Beast appears out of nowhere, and that's very a magician-esque character. Cliffhanger. Every episode ends on a cliffhanger. A discovery. The character of the teacher at the end of episode 6, who makes his first appearance as the Beast in episode 1, is a corrupt character. He's evil, not evil, but willing to do, willing to do very corrupt and evil things. So. A chase. There are many chases. Episode 4, most significantly, is pretty much all a chase inside a dark house. An elusive quarry. Metaphorically, trying to figure out who killed Drew is a quarry, that which is elusive. Ambition. They are ambitious in trying to find out who killed Drew, and also figuring out what the book is, and all sorts of things. A fateful decision. Many characters make fateful decisions. In episode 6, there are several fateful decisions. Episode 2 has some as well. Lots of fateful stuff happens. An evil twin. In episode 5, there is literally an evil twin. I don't want to spoil any more than that, but one character ends up talking to himself. He's an evil twin, so actually that probably fits one of the best. A chronicle. The show itself is a chronicle, and also the book itself is a bit of a chronicle because there are flashbacks involved that tell stories within the show. A double take. There are a bunch of these. Episode 4 has one. Episode 1 has a couple double takes. They happen in the show. A labyrinth. Metaphorically speaking, it's figuring out who killed Drew, and the mystery behind the book is a labyrinth. But also, in episode 4, they end up getting stuck. They end up in the house without power, and because it's all dark, it ends up feeling like a labyrinth to an extent. Shared universe, because I say so. It shares a universe with Point, Echoes, and End of the Line, because there is sort of an ancestry that is followed. This takes place between Point and End of the Line, or Point and Echoes. End of the Line takes place in 1900. So it's all are in the same mythos, so to speak. Indivisible. We work with a bunch of people from different film schools, including Chapman and NYU, but the one we're counting is someone that helped with editing goes to the University of Copenhagen. Oh, that's Outside In. Never mind. That's Outside In. Indivisible is working with a bunch of people who are in. No, wait.
We have writing.
Yeah.
Writing, critical studies.
Writing, critical studies, and production. Also, plus 10. We also have a collaborator from outside SCA. Wait, is that plus 10 for each collaborator or a collaborator?
Just having a collaborator.
A collaborator. Okay, that's it. We're done.